The optimism bias is a tendency to overestimate our likelihood of experiencing good events in our lives and underestimate our likelihood of experiencing bad events. So we underestimate our likelihood of suffering from cancer, being in a car accident, and another example would be how we overestimate our longevity and our career prospects. In short, we're more optimistic than realistic, but we are oblivious to this fact. The phenomenon is also referred to as the illusion of invulnerability or the unrealistic optimism, and also a personal fable. But private optimism about our own personal future remains persistent. And it does not mean that we think things will magically turn out to be okay, but rather that we have the unique ability to make it so. A small group of people were given a list of abilities and were asked to rate themselves from 1 to 10 on where they stand.
8.
6.
7.5.
9. 8.
6.
7.
8.
9.
8.
7.5 or 8. 7.
9.
7. 8.5. 8.
7.
6.
8.
7.
So most of us put ourselves above average on most of these abilities. Now, this is statistically impossible. We can't all be better than everyone else. This phenomenon was initially described by Weinstein in 1980, who found that the majority of college students believed that their chances of developing a drinking problem or getting divorced were lower than that of other students. At the same time, the majority of these students also believed that their chances of positive outcomes like owning their own home and living into old age were much higher than their peers. It is really interesting to investigate the factors that could perhaps explain this phenomenon of unrealistic optimism. The first being the desired end state of comparative judgment. Many explanations for optimistic bias come from the goals that people want and outcomes they wish to see. People tend to view their risks as less than others. The reasons for this could be perhaps because of self-enhancement or self-presentation. Self-enhancement. Self-enhancement suggests that optimistic predictions are satisfying and that it feels good to think that positive events will happen. People can control the anxiety and other negative emotions if they believe they are better off than others. They tend to focus on finding information that supports what they want to see happen, rather than what will happen to them. Self-presentation, on the other hand, could also occur due to various reasons, such as acceptance within the society, wherein people attempt to establish and maintain a desired personal image in social situations. People in this case are motivated to present themselves towards others in good light. The second being personal control. People tend to be more optimistically biased when they believe they have more control over events than others. For example, people are more likely to think that they will not be harmed in a car accident if they are driving the vehicle. The third cause could be representative heuristic. In this case, individuals tend to think in stereotypical categories rather than the actual targets when making comparisons. To give you an example, when drivers are asked to think about a car accident, they are more likely to associate a bad driver rather than just the average driver. Individuals compare themselves with the negative elements that come to mind rather than an overall accurate comparison between them and another driver.
Getting me down right now.
Oh, Marshall, you only think you're happy. Just wait, because tonight is Barney's favorite thing!
That was the reaction Barney expected. This was the one he got.
Huh?
I don't know what that is.
Barney's favorite things! I'm gonna give you all a bunch of free stuff. Like Oprah. Just get excited, okay?
The following are examples of cases where the optimism bias is quite evident.
Oh, look, buddy, you got a sweet resume, but we don't have any openings you're qualified
They
for.
set me up! It was a trap! It's a trap!
We have one opening you'd be perfect for.
Great! What do I do?
Please. Provide legal exculpation and sign everything. Just show up every day, scribble your name in a bunch of documents, and we'll pay you 16 crap loads a year. Deeds are in the contract. I'll give you time to think about it.
I'll take it!
Hold on. Did you even read this before signing it?
No.
You're hired. We'll work on that.
Wait, that's your job? You sign sketchy, legally binding documents that could implicate you for God knows what?
Best job ever, right?
Barney, you're being stupid. The company is setting you up as their fall guy for all of their illegal activities.
No, you guys are being stupid.
In the second video again, it can be said that Barney is of the opinion that he is less likely to get caught and therefore chooses to take the risk without thinking about the repercussions that could have taken place despite being well aware of the consequences. He clearly underestimates the likelihood of getting arrested for it. Why is it good to be an optimist? The optimism bias is a cognitive illusion which a majority of us experience. However, there's nothing to be disappointed about it. There are three major benefits that could come from being an optimist. The first being, whatever happens, whether you succeed or you fail, people with high expectations always feel better. The second, regardless of the outcome, the pure action of anticipation makes us happy. The third, optimism changes objective reality. It acts as a self-fulfilling prophecy. While the past few years have seen important advances in the neuroscience of optimism, one enduring puzzle remains. How is it that people maintain their rosy bias even when information challenging our upbeat forecasts is so readily available? Only recently have we been able to decipher this mystery. By scanning the brains of people as they process both positive and negative information about the future, the findings are quite striking. When people learn, their neurons faithfully encode desirable information that can enhance optimism, but fail at incorporating unexpectedly undesirable information that we often need. It is believed that knowledge is key. We're not born with an innate understanding of our biases. Once we are made aware of our optimistic illusions, we can act to protect ourselves. The good news is that awareness rarely shatters the illusion. The glass remains half full. It is possible then to strike a balance, to believe we will stay healthy, but get medical insurance anyway, to be certain the sun will shine, but grab an umbrella on our way out just in case. As long as we're aware of our own optimistic biases, we can protect our actions from its harms. However, this should not ruin the optimism that we often need and should never ever get in the way.